Welcome to Life Mastery for Women, where I help you decode the struggles in your life in the areas of health, wealth, relationships, and spirituality with mind mastery, emotional management, and meditation. Welcome to today's podcast. Hey ladies, it's Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. Welcome to today's podcast, where I hope I am finding you living at your highest standards. If you're not living at your highest standards, then please allow me to have the intention to give you one nugget of inspiration towards your transformation. So welcome ladies to this podcast. This to me is a game changer. A couple of episodes ago, I talked about how we had standards when we started our relationships. And when I was in junior high, so like 7th grade, I'm like, I just want a boyfriend, right? Everybody had boyfriends and I wanted a boyfriend. And if you know me at all, you know how funny that is because I am gay. And so back then, wanting a boyfriend was kind of a weird thing, but I just wanted a boyfriend. So to me, that's my number one standard. I just want a boyfriend, right? So when I was in school, I got a boyfriend. Now, this boyfriend, though he was very nice, he was dumb as a box of rocks. He was very friendly and he was a nice kid. And we probably, quote, dated for about 3 days. But then that was my initial standard. I want a boyfriend. Well, I got one. Okay. But he just didn't live up to, as I was experiencing this exchange of friendship with him, that weirdly enough, it didn't feel right. So then my standard went up a notch that says, now I want a boyfriend who's smart. Then I date this guy who is smart and funny and charming, but he smoked. Okay. So now my based on my experience, my standard goes up again. Now I want a boyfriend who's smart, funny, but doesn't smoke. Smart, funny, and values health. And it just went up and up and up and up until I was a certain age. And I said, forget dating these guys. Now I'm going to start dating girls. But I started all over again. Now I'm just going to date a girl, right? And then through the experience, I decided I want this type of a girl versus that type. And I want this and not that. And I didn't bring my standards over. But what I want to talk about today is leveling up your life just a notch. So if you have an area of your life right now where you're unhappy in any of the areas, health, wealth, relationships, or your current spirituality. Now, sometimes I don't find a lot of our clients are like, I want to level up my areas of spirituality. There's a few that are really in depth with their chakras or their energy field or their meditation practice. And they're trying to open their intuition, open their third eye, connect their chakras, connect to past lives when their area is really in spirituality. Their connection to spirituality is important to them. But most of the time, I find it to be in two areas, and that is health and relationships. So take that area of your life, any area, whatever your number one problem is, and ask yourself, what is my standard for this area? So many times I run into my clients who have gotten to a certain age, they found this mate, and they said, hey, let's get married, without assessing their long-term standards for this particular person. I dated this girl, and I've talked about her several times. It was a terrible relationship. It was my weekend relationship that should have lasted it was a 4-year relationship that should have lasted a weekend. All of the red flags were there, all of them. This was the worst relationship in my entire life, and I learned a lot from that relationship about myself, and about my standards, and about looking at the whole picture before I made a decision. Because I saw the whole picture before, and I didn't know. I didn't know that if I continue with this relationship with this girl who is telling me that she's cheated on her husband 500,000 times, she cheated on this boyfriend, she got back together with her husband, they got remarried because they got divorced, they got remarried, she cheated on him continuously. I'm like, okay, all the signs are there, folks. The only difference is now we're both dating each other. in a same-sex relationship. So that was the only difference. But she's a person that may not be loyal. So then my standard that flag should have raised, said, hey, Jen, I don't think you want to get in this relationship because she's telling you she cannot be loyal for whatever reason. And I think, well, maybe because she's, was in these heterosexual relationships and wanted to be gay. And that, that can make people do really dumb things, like, okay, until they figure it all out, right? I dated a bunch of guys before I started, I switched over and said, you know what? The whole picture is, oh, I'm gay. Like, it came clearer as I went through a couple different relationships through the younger part of my life. And when I was growing up, gay was not accepted. And so I had to fight against the crowd. So I had to try, even though I wanted to swim upstream, I had to turn and swim downstream based on my family values and my peers and the people in my community that I spent time with. But now this is about you. And I find a lot of my clients and a lot of the women that I work with will say something like, I wanted to have babies, and this was the guy that I was dating. And I didn't think anybody else would want me. And I don't want to start all over again. I totally get that. I totally get it. I understand. But take where you are right now and assess your life. What are your standards? And you could use a piece of paper, you could use a visual cue to figure out what your standards might be in any particular area of your life that you're struggling in. If you're taking your relationships, is put my ideal relationship at the top of the page, my ideal relationship, and now fill those blanks in. Fill that sheet in with all of the words that will equate to someone you would consider your best friend, your husband, your wife, your teammate, your partner, your life partner, whatever you want to call that person that you are willing to spend the rest of your life with. Now, also understand that as we grow and change and we push against that resistance, as we are growing and changing, our spirit is always seeking expansion. Always remember that. Our spirit is always seeking expansion. When you get into a union with somebody else, their spirit is expanding and your spirit is expanding. And sometimes our spirits don't expand together, because I want a relationship that is solid, that is loyal, that is honest and trustworthy and safe, where I can be myself. The person that I'm with might want a relationship that is fun and fluid and forgiving and flexible. Well, those things may not go together. It depends on the beliefs of the other person. If in that flexibility they mean, or forgiveness, they mean, well, I kind of want an open relationship. I want to date new people. I want to have the freedom to come home to you, but I also want to maybe be intimate with somebody else just as an experience, but then have you as my background. Okay, well, that's not me. I don't want that. I don't want a partner where I'm sitting at home and they're out at the bar doing God knows what, and then they're coming back to me. That is not a value that I hold personally for my relationships. So if I fill in this sheet of paper, what that does is it allows me to assess what it is that I want in this current moment. What kind of person do I want to be with? When I was dating my previous partner, we dated for about 9 years, almost 10 years. And that relationship was great in the beginning. It was exactly what I needed in the beginning of our relationship. I needed safe and secure. I needed a safe place for me to be myself. I needed a place that I could trust, and a place that was calm in the rough seas of my mind, which is what I was dating before, right? We're two rough ships trying to date, and it was not working. This relationship now provided some stability and some honesty and some realness in our relationship. However, at about year 6, my desire for the relationship and my seeking expansion started to press against the relationship itself, where now I think I want a family. I was probably 32 or so, maybe. And I wanted a family. I wanted the relationship to get deeper and more connected in the spiritual space. Well, this girl was very religious, and she wasn't allowing herself to move into the space of we control our destiny and we have input energetically in healing our bodies and creating the life that we want to live, and the law of attraction, and kind of working with the energy of the universe. She did not believe in that. She believed that God was external from me, and I have to be good, and I have to follow the 10 commandments and do the best that I can so I get a spot in heaven. And back then, my standard was, I need a safe place to be. And she did provide that for about 6 years. After that, I'm like, okay, now I'm seeking expansion again, and she is not willing to go with me. So I tried and tried and tried my best, my hardest, I put my heart into it, I put my soul into it for 3 solid years, bumping up against this resistance, even to the point of, I'm going to give up my desires. I'm going to tell my spirit, no, we don't need to have a family. We don't need to have kids. We can be satisfied. But my spirit kept going, no, it's time to expand. It's time to level up. And I just kept saying, I can't though, because I've invested all this time in this relationship, and she has supplied this foundation for me. And she's like, my spirit is like, that's great. And that's exactly what that relationship was for. It has satisfied that result. Now it's time to move. And the deeper I connected to my own spiritual journey, the harder the resistance became. I couldn't resist anymore. And I ended the relationship after 9 years. Before the relationship ended, we were already on the brink and kind of separating our things, and we were already, trying to figure it all out, and we were pretty much emotionally separating. I remember being in the think tank, which to me is the shower. And I remember thinking, this is what I want in a relationship. I want fun, funny, sexy, high energy, intimate, solid friendship. I want this space to be just loving and expansive and beautiful and wonderful, and this good energy and this best friend and laughter. And the more I dug into it, the more I felt excited and happy. But in my mind, I was thinking I was putting this energy towards the current relationship that I was in. But I was raising my standard. I was making the clarity, and I was setting the intention that I wanted my relationship to change. Now, the problem is that my current relationship wasn't changing. My current relationship status was here at this level, and I wanted to go to this level. But I had a partner who was not willing to go with me. So what happened is, as my desire for change became more imminent, more permanent, that I'm going in this direction. And I basically turned around and said, are you coming with me? And spiritually, she said, I can't. No, I'm not ready. I'm not willing. I'm not able. Whatever her reason is, that's her own spiritual journey. I turned left. She turned right. And that was the end of our relationship. But what did I discover? I discovered this exact point in time where I made this decision that I am going to live my life for me. Sorry, not in a selfish way, but in a responsible way to respond to my spiritual desires to live my life to the fullest. Because I was dead set against that I was going to be in a relationship where now 10 years more down the road, we are basically roommates who share a bank account. That we don't have that intimate level. We don't have that connection. We don't have that fun and exciting and happy type relationship. I want somebody who can grow with me, who can change, who can uncover things about themselves and be willing to take steps in a different direction. And you can take a spiritual journey where I'm on one side and you're on the other side, and we're looking out our own windows and we're seeing a different view, but yet we're going on this journey together. And I believe that is possible. I believe that you can get into a relationship that grows and supports each other in their own spiritual journey. And that's what I was looking for. Well, when I set the intention and I gained this clarity, I ended up finding that. Amy and I have that. We are growing together. We make changes together. And sometimes one of us grows faster than the other. And sometimes one of us takes a left turn and the other one takes a right turn. But yet we support each other in our friendship that is solid. And our relationship is solid because of the love we have for each other and this understanding that we're each on our own journey. But yet we stay connected in this friendship and this love and this support for one another, that the relationship stays strong. and we constantly are adding quality time and quality strength and power to our relationship, that we can continuously support one another, and that's where the relationship stays solid. So we can each have our own spiritual journey, but each have the one behind to support. So what about you? What are the things that you want in this said area? Do you want better health? What is your current standard for health? Oh, well, I'm going to sleep in, and I'm going to exercise a little bit, and I'm going to eat whatever I want. Okay. What that's going to get you is toxicity, ill health, weight gain, pain, and disease later in life, because those consistent rituals do not equate to ultimate health. What would happen if you raised your standard in an area? Do you like being in pain? Do you like being not feeling good? Do you like not having energy? But man, I sure do like my donuts and Diet Coke, right? I sure do like my spaghetti and meatballs, and I sure do like chips and pizza. Do you like chips and pizza more than you like being or feeling healthy? Because ultimately, when we are adding toxicity to our body and to our cells and to our energy system that builds our body and creates our energy, we are creating dis-ease in our body down the road. I wanted to explain something that I learned from Tony Robbins. I have been dealing with some back pain. If you've listened to my podcast, you are understanding that I go through these bouts of this back muscle that seizes up. It absolutely locks up to support my spine, because whatever it is I'm doing, I'm bending, twisting, whatever I'm doing, never picking up anything heavy. I'm just like, I bend down to pick up something. I don't even get all the way down there. And that back muscle seizes up, locks up, and I go right to the ground. It's a very terrible experience, because now I'm immobile when it gets to there. I can't get that muscle to release. So anyway, as I'm dealing with pain, and I've literally been on my back, and again, I'm recording this podcast from laying on the couch on my back, because it's the most comfortable position for me to be in. I do a lot of personal development learning. I take in tons and tons and tons of information and immediately apply it to my life. I've been reading a bunch of Tony Robbins. I don't know if you know who he is. He's a very abrupt, in your face, get you going, fire you up kind of a speaker and teacher. And I was reading his book and doing the work and taking his challenges and reading his blogs and watching his videos. And I'm taking in this information. And I want to share something with you that I thought was a pivotal moment for me during this 2.5 weeks of being flat on my back, and taking in this information going, you know what? My standards aren't high enough for the expectation that I have for my life. I can't continuously, which I don't always, but as an exaggerated example, I can't continuously eat pizza, drink Mountain Dew, lay around on the couch and watch movies, and then expect to have the body to go play with my kids or run around with my dogs. Those don't go together. I can't add toxic food and drink to my body to then help my body to change it and convert that into energy. Okay, a little bit of science for you, but I'm going to keep it really simple because I think it's important for you to understand something. The cells of our body, we get all the way down to the different cells. I'm not going to give you numbers because that's not the point to this example, like how many cells we have, but I know that they're constantly regenerating. Billions and billions of cells die every second and regenerate every second. But we have to feed it a couple of different things. One is oxygen. Giving our cells oxygen so they can give us energy. We do that through aerobic exercise. When you look back at 100 years ago in the agriculture, maybe even more than that, again, this point doesn't matter when the agriculture age was here, but in the agriculture age, our society was moving. We were gardening, we were farmers, we were out and about, we were up at 6, we would stay up till 9 or 10 and we're milking cows and farming and we're walking to school and we're gardening by hand and we're busy and we're moving our bodies. We didn't have heart disease, diabetes, obesity running the nation. But as time and technology developed, where did we get to? The sit-down jobs. in the comfortable cubicle with air conditioning. We're not moving our bodies. As we're not moving our bodies, we are not getting our heart to pump more oxygen through our blood and into our cells. If our cells are not getting oxygen, they are being depleted. That oxygen depleted cell now can't regenerate into energy. So what does that mean? My body becomes more tired. My train of thought, I get more distracted. I don't have the clarity of mind. I don't have the motivation to play with my kids or walk my dogs. I don't have the motivation to clean my house. I don't have the motivation in my business to change careers. I just settle for less. My standard that I should be raising, I just don't have the energy to move. I don't have the energy to live up to that standard. And I call this aging. I call this getting older. I call this is what just happens when you turn 40, 50, 60. What if I were to tell you that as you raise your standard, even just in this area of health, raise your standard up one level that says, I am going to walk at a comfortable pace to fill my cells with oxygen, to feed my cells of my body so they can give me energy. I'm going to do this every single day for the rest of my life. 20 minutes a day. Start at 10 minutes a day. Move your way up. As you notice, you start to have more energy and feel better. 10 minutes a day of comfortable but fast-paced walking that you can still hold a conversation, but your heart is pumping. Not your so comfortable pace that when you walk from your living room to the bathroom, but that you are like walking. I am getting from here to there because the sale is about to end. And I have 20 seconds to get there and I have to get in the door. So not a full out sprint, but something where you are moving quick enough that your heart is racing and you're beating, but yet you can still hold a conversation with a person next to you. If you were to commit to that, you are adding 20 to 25% more oxygen to your cells. Now, what does that mean to you? What does that equate to? More energy, a higher vibrational frequency, higher perspective, feeling better, having more energy to play with your kids, do the things you love, instead of coming home, grabbing a beer, grabbing a pizza, and watching Netflix. But now I have energy to put into my business. Now I have energy to put into my spiritual practice. Now I have energy to put into my relationships. Wow, what a life with just that one thing, because I'm saying at my cellular level, I'm going to give my body more oxygen, and in exchange, my body is going to be at a higher energy level, thus me feeling more invigorated. Holy crap, are you kidding me? What an amazing thing to do. Can you commit to 20 minutes, 10 minutes? Can you start at 10 minutes for 7 days and then add 5 minutes every 7 days after that? If it would give you the motivation, the energy, the clarity, the inspiration to do a next level thing. Now, age isn't a thing. Now, I feel amazing. Could you do that? I'm telling you right now, I'm doing that. Because feeling with this back pain and feeling like I'm not exercising like I should, I'm not walking every single day, but it makes me feel amazing when I do, which should be the encouragement. But what if I were to say, that as you're adding oxygen into your cells, that it is creating healthy, strong cells. Now you are adding this element through walking that is creating energy that motivates you to be happier and to live at a higher standard. Holy crap. Guess what else you're going to do? Naturally, you're going to start feeding those cells a higher nutritious food naturally, because you just feel better and you don't want to sabotage your already existing energy level. Because I'm telling you, when I eat crappy foods, when we eat pizza and garlic toast and drink a Mountain Dew, I'm like ready for bed in like as soon as the caffeine wears off, and I'm lethargic and I feel fat and I feel bloated and I feel gross. But man, that pizza was good, right? But then when I go on the treadmill the next day and I feel thin and fit and invigorated, I'm more apt to adopt that habit over eating pizza every day. Because after I eat pizza every day, though it's fun and once in a while we do, then I'm like, ugh, let's just lay down and watch a movie. Okay, that's fine. But then the next day, now I'm going to eat better. Because again, I am fueling my body at the cellular level. I'm going to give it nutritious foods So it can in turn give me energy and motivation and happiness, because when I'm feeling invigorated and I'm feeling energetic, my life feels amazing. I can solve problems from this perspective that I couldn't when I'm eating pizza and drinking Mountain Dew. So now let me ask you, what's more important? Having delicious pepperoni pizza and a Mountain Dew, but not being able to level up your life in the areas that you're struggling, or walking on the treadmill or walking outside preferably, eating nutritious foods so you can feel motivated to solve those problems from a higher perspective, and then your life starts to iron out. I don't know about you and what your answer might be, but mine is I'm kind of excited knowing this and understanding this at this level. The other thing that your cells need is it needs to be able to eliminate waste. Everything that we do, we take in, we consume, and then we eliminate. We bring it in and then we get rid of the waste. If we're bringing in too much toxicity into our bodies, our cells are not going to be healthy. And so what happens is those cells absorb water to try to rid the toxicity. It also develops, the lymphs try to rid the body of this toxicity, pushing it out of the body. As we're eating pizza, drinking Mountain Dew and Diet Coke and eating crappy foods and high in fat and high in cholesterol and simple carbs, which are like your white breads and pastas. And as we're eating this and beers and alcohol and drugs and whatever, as we're adding this toxicity to our bodies, our cells try to eliminate this toxicity, working extra hard. That is like I am trying to shovel the driveway of snow, and there's a dump truck that keeps coming into the end of the driveway and dumping a pile of snow at the end of the driveway. And I'm just shoveling. I'm getting really fatigued. But if I'm at the beginning and there is no dump truck, which is the toxicity, and I'm just shoveling the driveway, I just have this easy exercise. I just have this ease of exerting this energy to eliminate the 6 inches of snow that's in my driveway. Do you understand? But now if this dump truck keeps dumping toxicity, I, as a cell, I get worn out. I get depleted. I call in other things to help me. I call in the lymphs to help me. I call in water, which then we retain water when we're eating crappy foods. Our lymphs wrap around this toxic item that we're putting in our body, creating what? Tumors. Cancerous. These cells now transmute. What do they transmute into? And again, I'm just reiterating what I'm learning from Tony. But I'm transmuting. Now I'm a mutated cell, which if you know this at a scientific level, this becomes cancerous. Holy crap, you guys. This is something, to me, this is a huge breakthrough in how I am feeding my cells, because I'm sitting here going, there's so many aspects of my business that I absolutely love. There's so many aspects of my life that I love, but I'm trying to level up my health. I'm trying to level up my relationships. And I'm trying to level up my business. I can't do that if I don't have the energy to do so. So what do I have to do? I have to hold myself at a different standard. And that means I have to feed myself. That is my responsibility. This is not just about my mind working and trying hard to motivate myself with a cup of cappuccino and a beer at night. I am trying to motivate myself and stay at a level 3 in my vibrational frequency. I can't do that. I have to feed my cells oxygen and nutrients and give it this balanced way and room and space to eliminate the waste, but not giving it too much. Don't eat pizza and beer and Mountain Dew every single day, or whatever junk food we eat. Eliminate that from your diet up to 90%. Can you have a cookie? Yes. That's like somebody just throwing, at the end of the driveway, someone just throwing an extra shovel full of snow for me as a cell to eliminate. It's not a big deal. But if I eat cookies every single day and I drink pop every single day and I add all this cream and sugar and crap to my diet and I eat pizza and I eat shitty burgers and gross fries and I eat all this, now you're talking truckloads of snow. The body will continue to try to push the toxins out. It'll do it through a cold. It'll do it through diarrhea. It'll do it through vomiting. It'll do it through acne. It's going to push the toxins out of your body. And then what do? We say, oh, I've got phlegm, I've got the flu, I've got diarrhea. And then we go to the medicine cabinet and we take a pill. We take a stool softener, or the opposite. We take some sort of medication. I have a headache. I have acne. I try to put this medication on. And now you're just adding more chemicals, these artificial chemicals to the body that as the body is trying to rid itself of these toxins. So what do? You get on the treadmill, you go outside 10, 15, 20 minutes a day, every single day. Everybody has 10 minutes a day to walk briskly, to add oxygen to the cells so the cells can work for us to create energy, motivation, happiness. And you keep adding 5 minutes every single week. Every week. The next is you automatically add high value foods, high cellular level foods, instead of these processed foods that don't have any live cells. I'm talking about grow a garden and eat the apple off your tree. High level foods. At a cellular level, feeding my cells high nutritious foods. Now the cells can do their job. Okay, that's like getting a heated driveway. I'm helping my cells do their job, right? I am helping my cells do their job by me leveling up and taking the time to do this at a cellular level. Now, I'm not going to additionally add toxicity, meaning I'm going to allow my cells to eliminate waste at a regular level. You're going to poop regularly, but my skin clears up. I don't have dandruff. My body feels good. Blood flow is moving through my body, so I'm healing my body. My cells are automatically going to go to my back and it's going to heal instead of trying to move this toxicity out of my back. Oh, what an amazing breakthrough. That is number one. When you feel healthy and you feel amazing, you also feel the ability to move. And I mean move physically, but I also mean move emotionally. When your body feels amazing, don't you also feel on top of the world? Don't you also feel I could go in and talk to my boss and ask for a raise and be confident and he's going to give me a raise? Don't you also feel like I could go in and talk to my husband and my wife and I can iron out all our problems because I feel like I'm on cloud nine? Don't you also feel like you could go in the backyard with your son or your daughter and absolutely deepen your relationship with them and have them in your life at this beautiful experience forever? Don't you also feel like you're amazing and unstoppable? But it starts with one thing: your health. Your absolute health. Working at the cellular level, giving your cells the things that they need to be able to do what it needs to create the body, because that's where it starts, is at your energy level. So I ask you right now, what is your energy? Where are you? Are you laying on the couch in pain? Are you feeling invigorated? If you're feeling invigorated, what are the habits that you're doing that create this, I don't know if invigoration is a word, but let's say create this high energy invigoration, this real true happiness, this high vibe state? What are you doing? Are you exercising every morning? Don't forget cardio. That adds the oxygen. Musculature is also important to give you the physique, and also muscles burn more calories, so it takes more energy and your energy keeps going. You get off the treadmill and your calories stop burning. But if you start doing push-ups, sit-ups, lunges, and doing some weights, that continues your calorie burn, so your body starts to burn fat and you start to continue to feel amazing. So make sure you add that too. Am I adding too much to your plate? Let me ask you this. What is your health worth to you? What are you doing instead? If you are watching Netflix, if you are coming home and you're like, listen, Jen, I work 10-hour days. I have 3 kids and 2 dogs. I have 12 chickens and 4 alligators, and I just don't have the time. And I say, how is your energy right now? If your energy is good, then you are amazing. You're doing something right. If your energy is not, where can we eliminate? Where can we delegate so we can put in this time? What if it was 20 minutes a day, 10 minutes of cardio, 10 minutes of some weights? What if it was just 10 minutes a day of walking? What if it was 10 minutes a day of walking with weights and you did some bicep curls and some presses? Can it be done? How important is your health? What would your life be like if your health was down, how would you feel then? How would your relationship suffer? What would your life be like if your health was up? How would your relationships adapt and change and improve? How would your overall perspective of life change and improve? If it would, then to me, it's worth it. It's worth getting up earlier to work out. Is it going to be hard? Yes. Is it going to be worth it? Yes. Do you need support with this? I have a sister circle. We're going to be talking about this as we come up. We have conversations. This isn't just me talking your face off. This is you sharing with the circle. Lady Rising on Facebook. It's a community of women who are doing everything for their families. And we are going to help problem solve. We are going to help inspire you to make these changes, hold each other accountable, and support each other through this change and leveling up. Figure out what your standards are, and I suggest you start with health. Because if I'm not healthy and I don't have the energy, I don't have the energy to input into my relationship. I don't have the energy to have conversations late into the night about things that we can do or change. If I don't have the energy, nothing is going to improve. I'm going to go to my boss and say, "Can I have a raise?" knowing in the back of my mind, he's not going to say yes. Someone else is going to get the promotion over me. I'm never going to start a business because why bother? I don't have the energy to do it. I don't have the time. I'm too old. I don't feel good. Okay? Start with health. My ideal health. Even though I said a while ago, my ideal relationship, let's start with my ideal health because that's where it starts. This is where we begin. This is where we begin our journey, ladies. If you are still listening, please join our Lady Rising group. You may not be able to get on the calls depending on when they are and what time, and I understand that, but I want you to be a part of our circle. I want you to be a part of this community where we're going to help each other. And I'm going to make a post in there that says, "What is my ideal health?" And I want you to add to that post. And when you come in through the member questions, I want you to say, "I came in through Jen's podcast," because I want to know that I'm reaching you. Please consider this because I think it's the most valuable perspective shift that we can make that is going to absolutely shift your life to the level that you actually want to live. I hope you'll join us, and I can't wait to see you and to support you in our sister circle. If you liked this episode and you look forward to future episodes and are really looking for a community to help support you with implementing the tools that we're talking about in this podcast, please consider joining our online sister community called Lady Rising on Facebook, where we focus on that spiritual support and connection, just like in today's episode. I hope you'll join us. Go to Facebook, type in Lady Rising, and tell me you came in through the podcast.